I'm a spender. I always have been. When I enter a store, it's like a tractor beam draws me to the most expensive items. I like nice clothing. I like to travel. As I was settling into a career in asset management at JPMorgan, I still had a ton of debt and bloated expenses. Rent, student loans, saving for a wedding. Everything was a priority, except for the most important thing of all, my future. I was barely contributing to my retirement savings, mainly because I was in my 20s, and I simply could not fathom that one day I would be older and have to rely on that nest egg. It wasn't until my second son was born that I decided I needed to take this retirement thing seriously. I logged into my 401k plan's online planning tool one night and began answering some basic questions. When did I want to retire? How much did I need to live on after I retired? Then the real kicker, what did I expect the inflation rate to be from now until I retired? The what now? At that point, I did what anyone else would do. I logged off the computer and started to do the dishes. Truth was, I had no idea when I wanted to retire. I had no idea what my retirement would look like. And I sure as hell didn't know what the inflation rate was going to be. And I worked in finance. In any event, there were so many more important things my husband and I could spend our money on, including our 2 kids. Throw in childcare, nursery school, and sky-high real estate taxes in New Jersey, and we were still living paycheck to paycheck well into our 40s. Ironically, despite my personal struggles with money, I was becoming an expert in retirement solutions. My job was to build and manage pension and retirement funds for large organizations, which involved making decisions about what kinds of stocks and bonds were most likely to generate the returns my clients needed. I crisscrossed the country, meeting with investment professionals, and even testified before the SEC and Department of Labor during the depths of the global financial crisis. I was very good at my job, and before long, I was skillfully managing billions of dollars of other people's money and generating great returns for them. But for some reason, I could not devote the same level of diligence to my own finances. Why? Because, well, saving for retirement sucks. It requires acting against every impulse hardwired into our DNA. Basically, my brain was wired to think 30 seconds ahead, not 30 years ahead. It took several wake-up calls and years of course corrections to get on track. Except, even though I made every mistake in the book, I had it relatively easy. The truth is, young people today don't have the same luxury for multiple do-overs like I did. Take John, for instance, a 29-year-old living in Brooklyn. He works at a startup and lives in a 3-bedroom apartment he shares with roommates. He does his best to budget, but after factoring in student loan payments, rent, taxes, subway fare, and bills, at the end of each month, there's almost nothing left to stash in his savings. Over Thanksgiving, after a few glasses of Chardonnay, John's grandfather turned to him at the dinner table and said, "You know, by the time I was your age, I was married with 2 kids, and I owned a house. When are you going to start getting serious about your life?" John wisely didn't take the bait, but the thought gnawed at him for weeks. Why wasn't he further along? Why didn't he own a house yet? And why did he have barely anything saved for retirement? The thought of buying a house, raising children, and retiring at 65 on his current trajectory seemed about as likely as winning the lottery. John is far from alone. According to surveys by the National Institute on Retirement Security, 72% of millennials are concerned they won't be able to live comfortably and achieve a financially secure retirement. Indeed, in 1989, when baby boomers were roughly the same age as millennials today, they owned over 21% of the national wealth. Millennials today own just under 5%. Talk to a typical boomer, and they'll rehash all the tired old cliches. Young people these days fail at adulting. They study worthless subjects in college. They don't value hard work. They blow all their money on avocado toast and lattes.